Hi everyone, and welcome to Whiteskys Wisdom. This is a channeled message for Virgo. How you all going, my beautiful Virgos? It's been 3 long months, 3 lunar cycles, where you felt very much on your guard. You haven't connected with the earth as well as you could have, and your guides are asking you to get down to the ground in some way. If you live up high, you need to actually ground yourself. There is spirit guides around you at the moment that are trying to help you, but until you actually ground yourself, they are unable to do so. You will start to feel a lot better in your heart chakra when you do so, because you've been having issues of feeling whether you can feel safe and secure where you are. You're feeling like there's too many restrictions, limitations, too many rules, regulations at the moment. Not that you are not normally responsive to that, but I think they're imposed from the outside world, and that is starting to affect your ability to be able to feel safe and secure in the world. It's also affecting your ability to check in with yourself. So you could be working above and beyond your normal, incredible dedication to work. You're working above and beyond at the moment. You're really just waiting for the abundance to come in. I mean, for goodness sake, I can hear you saying, I've been working so darn hard for so darn long. When can I actually sit back in this and just relax? You might feel like you've made some pretty silly financial decisions recently, and or financial decisions are weighing really heavily at the moment. There's a part of you that just wants to, all I can see is like all you want to do is go to a festival, or you just want to go camp where there's no restrictions. You want to put your feet flat on the ground and nobody actually to tell you exactly what you should or shouldn't be doing, how you dress, how you act. You don't want to have to be prim and proper. It's probably the best way of describing it. So let's get into it. The whispers of your heart are singing very, very loudly. You could be feeling like you've been very much in, as I said, in your dominant side, and racing into emotional scenarios with a feeling of, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to do it. You know, come what may, I'm just going to tell people what I really think of this situation. And I don't know if it's working out so well. Other people are coming back with their opinion too, and it could escalate quite quickly to a point where you actually take yourself out of your body to cope with the scenario, as in you sort of go into fight or flight. You could feel like you're actually witnessing your world outside of yourself. You're seeing it all. It's like it's in this big bubble, but you're seeing it from a very different perspective than what you did 3 lunar months ago. There's passion, that's for sure. But I think the passion's coming off the back of things that have been said in haste. I can hear you say, oh, if only I could take that back. If only I could have said something different. And why didn't they say something at the time? And why couldn't have they said something different? Is there any way I can actually communicate better? Is there any way I can get communication back? Well, we're going to find out for you. Let's go. Wow. So abundance really is a state of mind. And I think you're starting to realize that. The more you're actually starting to pull away from this scenario and seeing it from outside perspective, I think you've realized you've been drawn into the matrix, as in this is the way we're supposed to earn money. This is what we're supposed to do to be good citizens. I'm doing all the right things. I'm earning good money. I'm paying my taxes. I'm being the responsible one here. But your inner soul is crying for a little bit of irresponsibility, and you're reasoning with it, trying to reason with it. You have the power to make each moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. See, it's a quandary. Everything is material for my liberation. I think you're starting to feel that your liberation will come off the back of you having to give up your day job, you having to give up the thing that's actually keeping you secure and happy and that sort of thing. And that could seriously be the case. But I think you're also expecting a certain amount of money to come from a certain direction. This is the way we do things. This is the way it happens. This is what I've been expecting for a very long time, and it hasn't come through. It didn't turn out the way you were expecting. And you're really starting to pull yourself back into yourself and wondering why. There's an energy around you at the moment that could be messing with you. An energy in your home or the land beneath you that is of a lower energy. Now, when I say energy, I mean a spirit of some kind, some sort of entity that might be in the land or in the area that you are residing, and it's mucking around with you, like things glitch or doors slam or all those sorts of things. You can feel everything's sort of a bit shaky. And you could also be hearing things, freaking you out a little. Okay, that's okay. A lot of the times when the veil drops a bit, when we actually move into the world between the 3D and the 5D, there is a sense of being in both. So at the moment you're sort of feeling like I can feel this energy rising. I can feel myself lifting into a spiritual realm, but what's all this stuff going on? Seeing things in the corner of your eyes, or just this inkling and knowing that's coming over you. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. We don't have to be space cadets to be in tune with spirit. And we don't have to be fully grounded that we disconnect from spirit. So you're finding out there's a grey zone. Not everything's black and white, as I wear black and white today. Not everything's black and white. Not everything is put into as the black and white here, a definite black, a definite white. There are greys in your experience. And it's very unsettling. Let's go. You're looking out to new horizons and different ways to make money. No longer choosing to do the long trodden way of earning cash. But the fear is real. You're very exuberant about it. You're very excited about it. But there's a lot of people coming at you saying, Virgo, do you really think you should give up your day job? Virgo, do you really think you should be doing that? Virgo, 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 whinge, whinge, bitch, bitch. And it's putting you in your feels. Be careful of not retaliating. Getting the words out and saying things, as I said at the beginning, you're saying things that you may later regret. Or if people are mouthing off, I'd be taking it with a grain of salt at the moment. A grain of salt. Because they don't know what you're going through. They have no idea. And what they could be perceiving is you used to be this way. You used to be basically balanced. Virgo's reliable. Virgo does this. Virgo, needs to keep their emotions to themselves. Well, sometimes Virgo needs to tell people exactly what they think. And I think you're starting to get a lot of guidance, third eye guidance here coming through, that you need to actually start to embrace both sides of yourself, the real balanced earthly side and the intuitive spiritual side. It's really important. There's a longing, absolute longing within your being to do so, to balance it out. Now, you could be dealing with a Libra, that's for sure, or the justice system. And justice, a lot of the time justice is shown as blind. In this example, it looks like a gentleman, but normally justice is shown as blindfolded. So you could be dealing with individuals here that just aren't willing or able or have the comprehension to understand exactly what you're going through. The best way to deal with this is to get outside and put your feet on the ground, if at all possible. If you live up high in a high rise or a second, third, fourth, fifth story building, you need to get down to the ground a lot more. Less on the concrete, actually touching the ground if you can, if you have the ability to do so. Your ancestors, your spirit guides are all trying to encourage you to ground. It's really important because they've got so much to tell you, and you're going to actually start to see synchronicities. You could be one of those people that, as I said, starts to see spirits coming out of the corner of your eye, start to connect with past on loved ones. So there's a wisdom in nature that it cannot be replicated. And there's a wisdom in you that cannot be replicated either. It's really important that you realise your own power. To realise that once you make the decision to do something, you will do it. Do it to its absolute perfection. But to also realise there is an ebb and flow of energy. And if you're feeling a little bit off, you need to look after you. Not to project it outwards or not to allow others to project it towards you either. If people in your environment aren't dealing with stuff and they're blaming you, that's not appropriate. And it's not okay. But it's also not okay for it to go back the other way. There's a massive transformation taking place. It's time to shed the old skin. So what in your environment and what in your personality are you trying to shed at the moment? And what are other people trying to tell you that this has been the way it's always been, this is the way you've always acted, and we don't like you acting like this this way, you're acting out of character. Well, people change. People change, and you're going through a massive change because you're starting to move into your own self-love here. Love of self is so important. But we get that mostly from grounding ourselves in nature and spending time by ourselves. She's got a musical instrument, no devices, no phones, no others to distract her. And I'm hearing from you is that would be the last thing I'd want right now. I need to keep in touch. I need to keep on top of this. I need to. The thing I'd say to you is why? Why is that? Why do you need to keep separate from I was going to say separate from the material world, yes, but separate from Earth. You are an Earth sign, but such a logical, driven one that you can end up in your upper chakras, in your mind, into your head space, and it leaves you disconnected from the Earth. I always see this as an individual up in their headspace, but there's little energy down below. So you're trying to balance this, but I think at times you might be swinging from one side to the other. It's a learning experience doing it this way. It's incredibly frustrating to swing from one state of being to the other. But you're starting to find that if you go too far one way and then too far the other, you're finding a centre ground here. Bring your incredible intellect into the world, but ground it at the same time. It will do you no good to stay up in your mind at the moment, but also do you no good if you don't get your stuff organised. So you do need to engage your mind, but you need to ground your energy. Because there is a way of metabolizing, interesting word. There is a way of changing this scenario, and it's not by burning it all to the ground or masking the problem. If I don't look in the mirror and I can continue to wear this mask to show people that I'm a certain way, it'll all come crashing down eventually. You will end up in a state where you actually do have to say something and you'll end up, or you'll pull yourself into yourself so far that you have this massive sense of defeat. You've got a dream. And that dream could seem so fanciful for you right now. So out of reach. But it's more in reach than ever. It's the closest it's ever been. Your ancestors are wanting you to step into this. There is greatness inside you, and they are cheering you on every step of the way. Animals, particularly dogs, could be helping you through this, or there is memories of loyalty to self, loyalty to earth, and loyalty to time and sanctuary where you actually can disconnect. But there's a fear around it as well. If I let my guard down, if I start to do what I want to do, if I start to step into my power, will I lose everything? Will I be forgotten? Will I not be able to carry it off, I hear you saying? Oh yes, dear one, you'll be able to carry it off. Don't you worry about that. It's all in the timing. There is another full moon to go through. Another lunar cycle needs to be completed. At the end of that lunar cycle, you'll be a very different person than you were the 3 lunar cycles before. Bask in the light of the full moon, this full moon coming up in May. And know that you are moving into a brand new world, a brand new energy, and a brand new way of life. Be very, very gentle with yourself. And know that each time you go around the lunar cycle, the same things in your life, the repetitive patterns, that is becoming greater and easier to move into the new cycles, to move into a more spiritual way of being, grounded spirituality. So dear beautiful Virgo, it's time for you to ground it. Realize that you are a spiritual being having an earthly experience, and an earthly being having a spiritual experience. So don't have one and not the other. It's time for you to bring balance into your life. And it will be incredible when you do. It's all experience. We came here to experience. So it's now time to expand your horizons. I really hope that helped. I love you all. And bye for now.